What's something all grown men should know about women? Story 1. It's lower than you think. Story 2. When we have the towels on our head, our hair is in the towel. Story 3. Women don't pee from the same hole they have sexy time with. It's amazing how many people don't know that. Story 4. That women have hairy bum holes too. Story 5. The location of the G-spot. That will be all. Edit. As is tradition, my top comment is about the G-spot. Damn it. Story 6. The hymen is not a freshness seal. Story 7. Labia comes in all shapes and colors. They have absolutely nothing to do with someone's promiscuity. Story 8. Not all of us want children. Doesn't mean that we're uncaring people or that we don't want some type of family. Story 9. Women are people. Garden variety normies, just like men. Not princesses, not goddesses, not quiet, shy, and mysterious outcasts who secretly want someone to blah blah. These are fantasies of men with warped views of women. Being too precious about females is just as sexist as thinking they're inferior. They're just people. Boring frickin' people. Story 10. When they start telling you some problem in details, they aren't looking for a solution, they are looking for commiseration. Story 11. Their farts can smell just as rancid as a guy's. Story 12. Periods frickin' suck. Please understand we don't choose to have them, and yes, it might make some of us moody and or grumpy. Story 13. Even if a woman seems to be the most confident person in the world, a sincere compliment will rock her world. And if she isn't confident, a sincere compliment will change her world. Story 14. Don't load your load in there unless you want babies, because that's how babies happen. It would be bad to have made it into adulthood and not know that. Story 15. Not all women experience their menstrual cycle in the same way. Ask what she likes. A lot of women I know were shamed for having kinks. If you can make her feel comfortable, you can easily end up hitching a ride on the freak train. Figure out what makes her feel loved. Romance is relative to the person, not the gender. Figure out what makes you feel loved and don't be afraid to communicate it. Periods can be icky. Don't be a freaking idiot about it and get her what she needs if she needs them. Story 16. PMS is not something we can always tell is happening. It's hormones, and we hate that it makes us irritable and emotional too. Not everyone's period is regular either, so sometimes you've no idea if it's PMS or you're just in a fragile mood. Also, not every woman loves chocolate. Story 17. This is gross, but guys piss all nice and neat, aside from odd instances. Women don't. It manages to seep everywhere in the crack area. That said, women use a lot of toilet paper. A lot. Don't ever bring it up. We know we do, and we can't really help it. Story 18. If we just met you, don't call us sweetie, baby girl, doll, angel, or anything else like that. You might mean well, but it's just insulting. Story 19. Crying is not manipulation. For some of us, it's completely uncontrollable. And we are as frustrated and annoyed by it as you are. Of course, there are some women who use it to manipulate, but for most of us, it is completely maddening. As for how to deal with it, what I would love to happen when I start crying because I'm angry, frustrated, tired, stressed, etc., I would love the person I'm talking to just sit quietly and let me try and stop, and focus on the words I'm saying instead of the fact that I'm crying. Story 20. Women are different from each other. They're not all the same. They're like people. Story 21. You can tell when a guy is trying to give advice on this thread on a girl's behalf. Story 22. Don't be a dick about stretch marks. Do you like big breasts? Well, don't complain about the stretch marks it took to grow them. Also, cellulite. You can be a size 0 and have cellulite. Story 23. We have moods and feelings that aren't tied to our uteruses. If you want to cause a bigger fight, ask, what, are you on your period? Story 24. The vast majority of them aren't gonna falsely accuse you of sexual assault. Story 25. Don't touch a black woman's hair. And yes, it literally takes all day for our hair to get done. Story 26. Don't ignore the clit. Story 29. We don't all share a hive mind that wants the same thing and has the same goals and aspiration. Grown men need to drop the idea that women are this weird, strange other species that needs to be figured out and analyzed and gamed. We're all just people. Relax. Story 30. Oops, I accidentally wrote a rant that was a magnitude longer than expected. That women can pursue special interests that have nothing to do with them being women. This may sound very trivial, but it has happened way too often that guys assume I only show interest in something because I'm trying to be a fake geek girl or because I want to garner their attention. I thought the point of being a geek was that only the geeky stuff matters in contrast to physical appearance. Because I have some very male-dominated interests, I have often been the only female in the group, and every time one of the guys acts as if I'm some sort of incompetent outsider trying to subvert the group. Something that often happens is the offending guy tests me by quizzing me on absolutely pointless knowledge loosely related to our interests to show that I am fake. You surely know what is specified in RFC 42. Ah, but what is the difference between the AES cipher suit and the Camellia cipher suit? Very often, actually most of the time, I know this sort of one googling away stuff by heart because I am a tad autistic and usually beat non-autistics at remembering pointless stuff related to my special interest. Kinda expect this sort of stuff. So, I survive. What really upsets me is when another female tries to join the group and they do the same stuff and she doesn't pass the quiz, and so the guys go on about how stupid she is. I mean, we were all helpless noobs at some point. Story 31. Most of them appreciate it when you tidy up after yourself and do stuff without being asked 1,000 times. But then, I think that's just most people. Story 32. If you're married, never stop courting and seducing her. She would be devastated. Story 33. This thread is all about sexy stuff. The thing that everyone should know is that except for a few things, men and women are more or less the same. Everyone wants the same thing. To be accepted for who they are as a human being, not what is expected of them as a man or woman. The worst thing that we can do to each other as a species is to limit our interactions and experiences with each other based on gender role. Story 34. They are just as sane, crazy, freaked up, twisted, dramatic, loyal, loving, insecure, or any other adjectives that you can think of as men are. They are not a different species. They are people with hopes, dreams, and flaws as much as any male. Story 36. There's a purpose behind pubic hair, to protect the genitals from friction and bacteria. Now, in the modern world there are ways to get around that, but still, shaving/waxing can be painful. Don't be a jerk if your girl has hair down there. Edit. Being polite about it is a whole different matter. Just don't be a jerk. Story 37. Women are secretly aerodynamic. Not that any of them will admit that. Story 38. A woman doesn't get her period when she is pregnant. That's 9 months without a period. After incubation period, she has the baby. After birth, she will have her period for about a solid month. Then something like 65 to 75% of women get postpartum depression. Story 39. That women get rejected. That getting laid isn't easy just because we are female. Many men have this fallacious assumption that women can get whatever guy they want, that we don't get rejected, and that we can have sexy time with whoever we want anytime. That there is an enormous pressure to focus on our looks. That we don't expect you to pay all the time. That we can be logical creatures and not sensitive, emotional creatures. That we aren't all obsessed with shopping and manicures. That just because we game or like science or sports, we want to be looked at as a tomboy. Like, come on, women like objectively cool stuff, and we don't want the credit being diminished by, oh, she's one of the guys. Story 40. When they want to rearrange the furniture, they aren't necessarily trying to solve a problem with the current arrangement. They might just want change. Don't argue. Just push that couch around. What's something you think all grown men should know about women? Tell us in the comments. That's all for today, folks. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.